Is China truly a communist state? This question has sparked countless debates and discussions throughout the globe. The perception of China as a communist state is a widely accepted view, stemming from its historical roots and political structure. However, the reality might be more complex than what meets the eye. In this video, we will embark on a journey to understand the intricacies of China's political and economic landscapes. We will delve into the core principles of communism, explore China's unique political structure, and analyze its economic trajectory. Furthermore, we will attempt to decode why American leaders often label Chinese leaders as communists and dictators. Is this labeling based on fact, or is it a product of political rhetoric? Does China's leadership structure influence its economic growth, or are there other factors at play? This video aims to delve into these questions, providing insights based on political theory and China's historical and current status. To address the question at hand, we first need to understand what communism means. At its core, communism is a socio-political ideology that advocates for a classless society. Originating from the works of Karl Marx and Friedrich Engels in the mid-19th century, communism proposes that all property should be publicly owned and that each person should work and be paid according to their abilities and needs. This idea is rooted in the belief that the means of production, the tools, factories, land, and investment capital that create wealth, should be controlled by the workers, not the capitalists who employ them. In a pure communist society, there would be no private ownership. Instead, everything would be owned collectively and shared equally among the population. However, implementing this theory in reality is a complex task. Over the years, different countries have interpreted and applied the principles of communism in a variety of ways. Some have abolished private ownership entirely, while others have allowed for some degree of it within certain sectors of the economy. Moreover, communism also entails a political aspect. It postulates that the state should be governed by a single party that represents the proletariat or the working class, which in theory should ensure that the needs and interests of all citizens are equally represented. However, this has often led to a concentration of power in the hands of a few individuals, raising concerns about autocracy and a lack of democratic processes. It's important to note that communism, like any other ideological system, is not a monolith. It varies from one context to another, influenced by a country's unique historical, cultural, and socio-economic factors. Now, with this understanding of communism, let's examine how this ideology applies to China. China, officially known as the People's Republic of China, is governed by the Communist Party of China. This political structure is deeply rooted in the country's tumultuous history. To fully understand it, we need to take a trip back in time. In the early 20th century, China was a hotbed of political unrest. The fall of the Qing dynasty in 1912 marked the end of over 2,000 years of imperial rule. In its aftermath, China was a republic in name, but in reality, it was fragmented and controlled by various warlords. Amidst this chaos, the Communist Party of China was born in 1921, inspired by the Russian Revolution of 1917 and the promise of a more equitable society. Fast forward to 1949, after a long and bloody civil war, the Communist Party, under the leadership of Mao Zedong, emerged victorious. The People's Republic of China was established, and a new political order was set in motion. The Communist Party of China took the reins of the nation and has held them ever since. In theory, the Communist Party governs China through a system known as democratic centralism. It's a principle that combines central leadership with democracy at the grassroots level. The party's highest body, the National Congress, meets every 5 years to elect the Central Committee, which in turn selects the Politburo and its Standing Committee, the pinnacle of power in China. The Communist Party of China permeates every level of governance. From the central government to local municipalities, party committees oversee and direct policy implementation. They influence the judiciary, control the military, and even have a say in educational content. In essence, the Communist Party of China holds the reins of power, guiding the country's political direction. They aim to maintain stability and unity, prioritizing collective prosperity over individual liberties. So, on the surface, China's political structure aligns with communist principles. But how does this translate to China's economic landscape? Despite its political alignment with communism, China's economic system tells a different story. A tale that began in the late 70s under the leadership of Deng Xiaoping, when China started to veer away from a centrally planned economy. Deng Xiaoping, often considered the architect of modern China, ushered in an era of economic reforms. He broke down the barriers of orthodox communism, introducing elements of capitalism into the Chinese economic model. The agricultural sector was decentralized, allowing farmers to sell their surplus crops in the open market. This move boosted agricultural production, leading to increased income for farmers and improved food security. The 80s saw the establishment of special economic zones. These zones were experimental grounds for free market capitalism. They attracted foreign investment, brought in advanced technology, and created jobs. This experiment was deemed successful, and its principles were gradually extended to other parts of the country. But China's economic transformation didn't mean a complete abandonment of state control. The government maintained its grip over key sectors such as energy, telecommunications, and banking. State-owned enterprises, though fewer in number today, still play a significant role in the Chinese economy. In recent years, China has become an economic powerhouse, the second-largest economy in the world. It's a hub of manufacturing and exports with a rapidly growing middle class. This economic growth has lifted hundreds of millions out of poverty, a feat unparalleled in human history. However, this economic prosperity comes with its own set of challenges. Income inequality, environmental degradation, and a rapidly aging population are just a few of the issues that the Chinese government has to grapple with. So where does this leave us? We see a China that has embraced the market economy, but with the state still playing a significant role. It's a unique blend, a socialist market economy, as the Chinese themselves describe it. It's clear that China's economic system doesn't strictly adhere to traditional communist principles. But why do American leaders still label China as communist? Maybe the answer lies not in economics, but in politics. But that's a topic for another scene. Scene script. American leaders often refer to Chinese leaders as communists and dictators, but why is this the case? From the American perspective, the label of communist is often applied to China due to its one-party political system. The Chinese Communist Party is the ruling party, and there are no other political parties in the country. This lack of political diversity is often seen as a sign of dictatorship, especially from a Western viewpoint where multi-party democracy is the norm. Another reason why American leaders may label China as communist is due to concerns over human rights. Reports of censorship, surveillance, and restricted freedom of expression are often cited. These issues, often associated with authoritarian regimes, can cause friction between the two nations and contribute to the perception of China as a communist state. However, it's important to remember that these labels are not just about political ideology. They also reflect economic competition. China's rapid economic growth and increasing global influence have challenged America's position as the world's leading economic power. This has led to a rivalry that is often framed in ideological terms, with America representing capitalism and China representing communism. Yet, is it accurate to label China as a communist state solely based on these factors? While the country's political structure may resemble a communist system, its economy tells a different story. China's economic success comes from a blend of state control and market forces, a system that is perhaps better described as state capitalism rather than pure communism. Moreover, labeling a country or its leaders as communist or dictator can oversimplify complex realities. It can overlook the diversity within China's political and economic systems, as well as the changes that have occurred over time. So, the label of communist may have more to do with political rhetoric and less with the actual economic and political structures of China. So, is China truly a communist state? As we've journeyed through this discussion, we've discovered that the answer isn't quite black and white. On one hand, China's political structure retains the hallmarks of communism, with a single ruling party and a centralized government. Yet, when it comes to its economy, China has embraced many elements of capitalism. China's economic growth story is a testament to this unique blend. The market-oriented reforms have spurred tremendous growth, lifting millions out of poverty. However, state control remains significant in strategic sectors. American leaders often label China as communist and its leaders as dictators, reflecting the country's political structure, but perhaps missing the nuances of its economic system. In conclusion, China presents a fascinating mix of communism and capitalism. While labels can be useful, they often oversimplify complex realities. It's important to look beyond labels and understand the intricacies of each country's unique political and economic systems.